The talk basically, to give you a good idea, it's like I give a talk where I wanted to do a talk where it's like, this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how hacking cultures are all different around the world and how all these different things have seen, like one country does this hacking different, this other country does this hacking different. It's like, and then halfway through my research, I realized that's not the talk I should have. It's like, this is a talk. So this is a very weird talk for me, and that's saying a lot. So I'm pretty sure, hopefully, you'll enjoy the ride, too. Also, I tell people, I alternate my talks every year. It's like 1 year I'll give an offensive social engineering, hacking kind of talk, and then the next year I do a rant. And so guess what? Last year I did spearfishing. So guess what kind of talk this is going to be, basically. So I will get ranty. It's like, so I apologize in advance for that. But a little bit about me. The only thing you really need to know about me is what you can't find on Google, what you probably actually find on Google, more than I want you to find on Google, is I like to travel. I love to travel, not just to actually just go to the conference, there at the conference, and then leave. I like to spend several days in a new country and stuff, you know, walking through, not just doing the tour bus thing, that those are pretty cool, you should check them out. It's like, but also I like to walk through the streets. It's like I've walked from the Coptic area of Cairo all the way to the Cairo Tower, which is over 7 hours and stuff, you know, just walking up and down. Found a great Pizza Hut by the Nile, which was awesome. It's like going through and walking through Beijing. It's like I went 11 hours. It's like going in a big circle around the Zidan district, which probably pissed off a lot of security officials because I just ended up right back at my hotel. And they're like, where the f did he go? And it's like I just went in a circle just to see what the city's like. So I like to actually experience the culture, see what's going on. And so that's when I started learning and talking to the people and seeing that there were differences. I wasn't expecting some of the similarities, though. But that being said, understand one important fact. I am talking for me. I don't talk for anybody else but me. These are my perceptions. This is my perspective. It's like, so your mileage may vary. But that's what I'm going to say. It's like, this is, and Russ Rogers did a great quote on that one. And so it's like, and I really believe that. So this is not trying to give absolutes. It's trying to give you an open dialogue. Try to create, you know, this is what I think about the hacking culture as it is today. But before I get to talk on culture, I want to get one thing out of the way first, especially, you know, we're in on the East Coast in Virginia and stuff, you know. It's about when I talk about hacking culture around the world and stuff, you know, hacking around the world, it almost always goes to that whole cyber war and the nation states and all that other crap, I mean, valuable intel and stuff, right? So it's like, so what I decided to do was like get that knocked out right now, because this is the problem that we have with the state of our industry and stuff, you know, when it comes to actually trying to figure out what different countries are. We have these awesome reports like this, and this is a great report from the Verizon. It's like, I'm not trying to knock, but do you notice something that might be a little missed on that report? Just a little bit of data from a little bit of maybe certain parts of areas that might be, that might be missing. So, you know, I'm not trying to knock them and stuff. You know, they gave their newer version is awesome because it's got all the map, you know, covered. But that basically means that it's like if I hack something and something happened in, you know, Paluca, Idaho, you can cover all of America because that happened there. So once again, no matter how much you cover it, I still think there might be some missing areas. You got this is the Trust Waves report. This was an awesome report too. I mean, come on, it's got pie charts. We all like pie, people. That's awesome. So it's like, not just because of the cool pie chart and stuff, you know, besides that, notice there's something else, you know, missing just a little bit. Maybe a couple areas that are missing. And that's one of the problems is like we've got data, but we're never going to have all the data. We're painting a picture, but we're not painting the whole picture. And this is a great one right here. This is one of the best ones. It's from hackmageddon.com, and not just because it's got a cool name, but I love these pie charts because it's got pie charts. You know, once again, pie. But look at that. Their pie charts actually have the flags of the other countries and stuff in them. That's awesome. Because let's face it, we're Americans. We don't know other countries' flags until we invade them. So this is awesome. We actually have them right there. So that's pretty cool. But what really got me about that website that was really awesome was this. Again, no need to repeat that data must be taken very carefully since they do refer only to discovered attacks, the so-called tip of the iceberg, and hence do not pretend to be exhaustive but only aim to provide high-level overview of the global cyber landscape. I will even forgive his use of the word cyber in that one because that is an awesome disclaimer. That is saying straight out, I don't have all the data. This is what I can see. Why don't we have more reports that are just trying to give that? And there's other reports that are a little bit more specific. They do give specific detail. This one has empirical data that we do know that on May 9th, some bad stuff was going down, coming from possibly maybe a proxy coming from China, right? It's like, or maybe it was just, and when I say proxy, because I say proxy, because I don't believe, it's like if you don't have attribution, you don't know where it's coming from. But let's say from here, this is where it says, and it looks like it was targeting somewhere in Duluth or Detroit, I don't know. We're going to say America. So that gives you some more empirical data. That gives you some more data. There's other reports, though, and this is the one that's like I get real trepidatious about saying and stuff, here in Virginia. There are other reports that may be a little bit more skewed and stuff, and no offense to Tau security and stuff, but it really does feel to me sometimes that when he was a little kid, China came over and stole his lunch money or something. It's like, I don't know what happened to that dude and stuff, but it was traumatic and it was horrible, and my prayers and sympathies are with him. But it does seem that some of these reports are a little bit more, we'll say, skewed to one perceptive. This is my story, I'm sticking to it kind of thing. And I'm not saying it's just my opinion. That's just actually not my opinion, because I guarantee you, I Googled for Maiden APT1 report, and I kid you not, honestly, this was the first result of the image search. Okay, so it's not just me. It's like other people think that report maybe was a little bit too just one-sided, a little bit, And one of the things that I got from some of these things that I keep hearing about when we talk about cyber warfare and we talk about nation-state hacking is we get this thing. We keep coming back to these facts. The Chinese are bad because they spy on their citizens. They spy on other countries. They infect other nation computers with malware. They try to censor the press. They try to suppress their protesters. Oh my gosh. Let's do some more research on that. Number one, they try to spy on their citizens. Oh wait, this is ours, isn't it? Oh yeah, my bad. I love the fact, in this one story, you got NSA admits employees spied on husbands and boyfriends and girlfriends. And so now, at least they're like going after specific people, not just everybody, right? Except for now we got to get the spies to get spied on by other spies that are spying on what they're being spied on. It's a little confusing. But so we may be a little bit, guilty about some of that issue too. I don't have any top secret stuff. These are all headlines, so don't worry about, government people. It's like they spy on other countries. Oh wait, this is America again. Darn. Look at how sad Merkel looks. She's German. She's been groped by George W. and still she can be made to look that sad. That's just bad. And the worst story on here. The worst story on here. Italian magazine says U.S. spies listen to the Pope. Vatican says unaware. Guys, I don't care if you're atheist, Christian, Islamic, Buddhist. I don't care. You got to admit, this Pope is pretty cool. Okay? This is a pretty cool Pope. I like this Pope. He's a good Pope. I mean, that other guy, he was a little sketchy, okay? The red shoes and stuff, I can give you that, okay? But this is the good Pope. How can you be spying on him? I mean, that's just sad. I mean, sadder than Merkel is right now. So, they infect other nation computers with malware. That's a horrible thing to, maybe not so much. I love the fact that it's like the U.S. and stuff, it's like, you can't hack other computers and stuff. But man, what did we do in that Iran nuclear facility? Yeah, we possibly did that. I don't think we did it. We weren't the ones that did it. So I just love that. It's like pride in your workmanship. I mean, when you get pwned so badly, you've got to take credit for it no matter what's going to happen to you. That's how they felt, I think. So it's like, yeah, we did it. And they try to censor the press, which is horrible because we got First Amendment, sometimes, usually. Okay, that's not, I see a trend here going. It's like, let's go on to the next one. It's like they suppress the protesters. I love this. I love this one right here. It's hard to see because it's all glary here. It's like it talks about the freedom of expression, the free speech zones. Back in the George W. when they were doing his tour, they did free speech zones. You can tell it's right there by the machine gun guys with the barricades. Free speech zone. Yay, that's some Orwellian stuff right there, man. I gotta give them props on that one. I mean, that's some Orwellian stuff on it. It's like, good, kudos to you. But one of the things that really upset me was New evidence that the U.S. Army hired spies to go undercover among local anti-war protesters. Now, anti-war protesters sound a little scary. It was the Quakers. The Quakers. Really? They're like one step above the Amish. You're going after them? Those little, those little coffee clutches and stuff, meetings and stuff, right by the doilies and the coffee pots are just a little too terroristic or something, It's like, I mean, what's up with that? So basically what I'm trying to say, in a hopefully a comical way, we're all doing it. It's all being done. It's like every person, every country, this is geolocation for command and control servers all around the world for hacking. Hacking is being done and caused everywhere. They even got command and controls in Canada. In Canada. I can just see how that is now. So it's like, excuse me, I'm going to compromise your system. I'm sorry. It's like, it's like, but they still got the command and controls there. So we're all, every nation state, every country, if you've got a government worth its salt, okay, that is doing its job, it is spying. No more talk about that. That's not what this talk is about because, quite frankly, everybody's doing it, okay? So this is not talking about nation states. I want to talk about the hackers and the individuals and the people that are on the ground that are actually trying to do security research and hack. So let's start the tour off. And we're going to start with Asia. The way this is going to play out is like I want to tell a story, a personal story that I had while I was there, and then I did a survey and I sent it out to a whole bunch of people around the world and asked them to fill it out as well. So the first one was my first trip, my first trip anywhere. I got my passport in 2008 in September. November, I find myself for the very first time out of the country in Beijing because, why go small? So it's like, so I'm at a hacking conference in China. Called XCon. It's a great conference there. They've had it for a very long time. It's done by the X-Focus groups, which you probably have exploited you already. And they're really good guys. And I'm having, and I don't know how this conversation started, but I'm having a conversation over a tea break with the lieutenant of the cyber crimes unit for Shanghai, which is responsible for all the cyber crime in the country. It's like I'm a friendly person. And we're talking, and he's like, and it's halfway through the conversation, he starts talking about like, it's horrible here. It's like with the crime, it's like people have to you have to show 3 million yuan damages before we can even do something. And then we try to get help from the colleges, and most of the college kids are the ones that are attacking in the first place, and the colleges want us to pay them for their support. And I mean, halfway through, I mean, I was about to go like, dude, come here, bring it in for a hug. You need a hug. It's going to be okay. I mean, I felt bad for the guy. So in other words, they're having the same problems. They may be causing problems, but they're having the same problems that we have. Everybody is the same. It's like no matter what country you go to, they're usually having the same kind of issues. And that was a big eye-opener for me because it's like I was really surprised and stuff, with some of the things I learned in that first trip. It opened up my eyes. So let's talk about another part in Asia. It's like this is a survey I sent out to someone. He replied back. He was from the Philippines. And I asked 4 simple questions. I asked a whole bunch, but these are the 4 that resonated with me. I said, how did you find out about hacking? He said, I found out about hacking on a newsprint magazine from a local computer store. It was hacking mobile phones, yes, the old black and white cell phones. I asked, in your region, how is hacking seen by the general public? Philippines has been delayed in technology. Technology and hacking are more of in a parallel world. So I would say general public in the Philippines sees hacking as a crime. And then I was like, is hacking in your region seen as more for crime, hacktivist, nation, state, and other? And you're going like, Jayson just answered that, but still, that was a question. And he says, crime and hacktivism. And I was like, that's not cool and stuff, but let's go on and see what else we can find and stuff, It's like, I mean, those weren't the answers I was expecting. So let's talk about the next one. This is that's Miko Hipton, by the way, and stuff, I think it's one of the great pictures of Hack in Paris. But let's talk about culture in Europe. One of my first travels there, it's like in December of 2008, I went to another conference in Germany, the 25CCC. It's like in Berlin. It's like I said, I don't waste time. It's like, and so I went over there, and one of the things that got me the most about that environment was the politics. When we say politics here, there's all these different connotations. It's like your side, my side, there, politics are very simple. It's like from the hacking standpoint. We want privacy. We want government oversight. They are very big. They actually have a member in the parliament from the Pirate Party. These guys do not play around when it comes to politics. Some of the best privacy rights in the world are in Germany, and it's because of the hackers that are involved in it, in the process. And it was so funny because I didn't realize how fervently they were in there until halfway through the conference, a guy comes up to me, he's like, come on, we're all meeting outside. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, we're doing our freedom protest march. I'm like, what? It's like, they emptied out the building in the middle of the conference, and they had signs they'd let you borrow. It's like, so everybody could go out and march around the building for a freedom protest and stuff, you know, about surveillance. I'm like, okay, we got exercise, that's good, right? You know, it's like, can't be too bad. So it's like, so we marched and stuff. So it was like, it was really interesting, an interesting experience there for my first time. Let's talk to this person. I said, what country are you more familiar with? He says, I currently live in the UK 8 years, but I grew up in Poland where I lived for 25. I like this one because he gives a little bit of both. I said, how did you find out about hacking? From media stories told at the Computer Market Exchange. Damn, that sounds very old school. It's like, no, just old. But when a group called Gumsy hacked NASC, the main internet org in Poland, the only PL register at the time, and then it followed on. So that's a good way to understand it. It's like he saw an event and stuff. In your region, how is hacking seen by the general public? In Poland, I guess it's mostly seen as completely illegal activity. In the UK, any wrongdoing with computers is called hacking, and general public thrives on misguided media reports. How true that is. And hacking in your region sees for crime, hacktivist, or nation state. In Poland, it's mostly crime, hacktivism, but there are reports of the Polish military ordering a creation of the offensive botnet. That's going to end well. This came out via some leaked documents recently, meaning a member of the public was bothered to read them on their official government website, which is a lot of, you know, leaked stories go from Poland. But it's like, that's how that goes. So it's like, so that's how they see it. And now I'm starting to see, it's like, okay, that's not what I wanted. It's, you know, this is not how my talk was supposed to go. So let's go to South America. It's like, I only have one experience and stuff, you know, in South America, and that was Keynote conference in Recife, Brazil, which is me right there. It's like, and I was having dinner with some of the local hackers there, and it was so funny because we're having dinner, we're talking about hacking culture, we're talking about how it's seen there in South America, and the guy was upset with me. He's like, yeah, man, it's like, it's not cool here. It's like, you know, it's like, it's not illegal. It's like, there's no crimes against it. You know, no one thinks you're doing cool stuff. You know, it's like, they're just like, oh, you're just a nerd with a computer. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I did hear and stuff, you know, that they're creating laws now, so he may be breaking the law now, so yeah, you can be a criminal soon. So, you know, I was like, sorry, I've got bail money. I don't know, I didn't know how to reply to that one. But that was the culture there. It was very wild, wild west. It was very open and stuff, you know, and, like, and that's just the way it went. And he was looking for more street cred, so there you go. So here's a reply. What country? It was Brazil. How did you find out about hacking? I love this answer. How did you find out about hacking? Trying to get things done. There should be an exclamation point on that one because that is the nature of hacking. I was trying to get things done. So in your region, how is hacking seen by the general public? Nowadays, it's a mix of good and bad. People sort of understand it. Back in the day, the early 90s, the internet was a quiet, widespread BBS. Stolen credentials and universities were the way to go. Then it started getting more regulated in 96 to 97. Bankers' activity started increasing quickly in Brazil. Bankers' activity means the banking fraud, credit card fraud, you know, that kind of stuff. Is hacking in your region seen as more for crime, hacktivist, or nation state, or other? Considering that those that don't know anything about it just see the stuff in the news, mostly tied to crime and sometimes hacktivism. In the corporate world, a better understanding to the ethical hacking, which is sort of cool. So let's go to the next one. And I fudged a little bit around here and stuff, you know, because I didn't know what to do on this talk. But it's like this is about Africa. I've only been technically to Africa. I was in Egypt, which sort of counts on the map. But when you go to the Middle East and stuff, you know, they don't really think it counts. It's part of the Middle East, so I use it twice. But this was my first talk in Cairo. It's like I was at Hager Halt in Egypt, and I love the officialness of it. It's like everybody was just like, there was these college kids right here, the ones I was giving the bunny ears to. It's like, it was so funny because they were just like, I'm at this conference. It's a hacking conference. It's like, And it was all official and stuff. You know, everybody was all dressed nice. They made me wear a suit, so it sort of, I felt bad for the attendees because they actually thought I was normal. They found out better otherwise, but it's like later. But it's like, it fooled them for a while. And it's like, but they were all so official, so just like, and there's this great picture. I didn't put it on here because it's like, it's this guy's picture, but he's got this picture. And he's like taking it like, it was like right here, right back there where the projector is, where the banner for the conference was. And he was like standing right here going, you know, taking his picture, not knowing that I was like halfway here going like this in the suit. Best photobomb I've ever done. It's like, so, but they're very official about it. It's like, and now it's gotten increased. It's like social media and hacking stuff, you know, it's gotten a little bit different. So let's talk about this one. What country are you more familiar with? South Africa. How did you find out about hacking? When trying to call UK long-distance numbers from South Africa during apartheid. He had a reason, he had an issue, he needed to get something done. He figured out how to do it. In your region, how is hacking seen by the general public? There is still a stigma attached to hacking, as in hacking into network apps, overbuilding. It's seen as more criminal than anything. Is hacking in your region seen as more for crime, hackers, nation state, or other? The media have dictated the view of hackers in most countries, so it's hard to put a positive slant on it. Also, criminals and genuine hackers are put into the same category. Where's the feel-good stuff that I'm supposed to be talking about, right? It's like I'm getting a little depressed, and that's very hard for me and stuff, you know, so I'm not happy. So let's talk about the Middle East. It's like one of the first times I was over in Beirut, Lebanon, it's like I met a guy there, and it was really cool because we're like having a little chat and stuff, you know, conversation and stuff, you know, and we're talking about hacking. So he pulls out his laptop and stuff, you know, to show me. Like, oh yeah, look, this is where I'm at. He was showing me command root access on one of their nation's telecom systems that he's had for 4 years. And I'm like, that's cool, I guess. It's like, he's like, yeah, it's really, I was like, what are you doing with it? It's like, what have you done? Why are you doing it? Oh, nothing, I just got it. It's like, you know, he's not messed with his phone bill. He's not going into other people's accounts and changing stuff. He's not locking out the admins. He's just got access to the telecom system, because why not, right? And that's how it is there. It's like, and especially in a lot of places and stuff, you know, in the Middle East, it is all wild, wild west and stuff, you know. It is very open, and the security matches the same thing as the drunk sheriff and stuff, you know, in a little bitty town out in Nevada and stuff, you know. He's like, Cisco, seems like a good password scheme. Why mess with goodness, right? I mean, their defenses are almost just as bad as the attitudes are over there. So that doesn't mix very well. So let's talk to my friend. This is where I cheated because now I'm bringing Egypt back in. But he said they're in Africa. Well, hey, I needed this, okay? So don't judge me. So how did you find out about hacking? I love this answer. That's where I want to keep using it. It's like, I caught a virus in 2005 because a certain person downloaded pirated games and it was backdoored. Wondered how those virus worms work, learned some programming first by viewing sample virus sources, and walked the road and never came back. That is freaking inspiring right there. It's like, he's like, his friend caught a virus on a pirated game and was like, oh, that sucks. How does that work? Let's find out. And he went through it, and he did it. In your region, how is hacking seen by the general public? Hacking is generally viewed as hacking people's Facebook and Yahoo accounts. And that is sad, people. I mean, the whole hacking Yahoo accounts. I mean, seriously. That's just sad. Okay? Now, is hacking in your region seen as more for crime, hacktivist, or nation state, or other? Most viewed as a crime if you knew about hacktivism. that actually was my response. I wasn't just sighing. That was my response to that one. So let's talk about North America, because America. He's like, you know, I got that in there. I will tell you that I try very hard not to give non-consensual awkward hugs, okay? But Bruce Potter is the exception, okay? I will hunt that man down and he will get an awkward hug from me at some point, okay? And he's the guy in the middle one right there just realizing he just got an awkward hug from me. It's like, because it's just like a rare game. Just, wow, gotcha. So that was a good awkward hug, sorry. But one of the things I can talk about is ShmooCon, which Bruce Potter is one of the creators of the ShmooCon conference in DC. And one of my best experiences of actually figuring out what a community is and how we get together was my first ShmooCon. it did help the fact that we were all snowed in. The schmook-apocalypse, right? It's like happened, and the whole hotel, there was no flights going out. There was nothing. I mean, this was like several years ago and stuff. You know, not the last snowpocalypse. This is like a few snowpocalypses back. But yeah, everybody was blanketed. The snow was up. No one was going nowhere. So you have over 1,000 hackers trapped in one building. That was awesome. It's like the hotel, I kid you not, gave all the premium channels and stuff, you know, for free just to occupy people's time. It's like, you know, just do something, just not hack our network. I don't think that helped. But still, good try on their part, right? So that was one of my good experiences. But seeing the people, everybody was talking to everybody. There was conversations. It really was a really great time. It's like the only time that I've seen that kind of camaraderie. How do you say the word camaraderie? It's like, huh? Camaraderie, yeah. I'm a high school dropout, so I have an excuse. So there you go. So yeah, so what that guy said. It's like, you get that. The only time I've seen that since then is DerbyCon. It's like, so it's like if you have a chance to go to DerbyCon, you got to go there. I'm not saying it because the guy who created it is in the back. I'm saying it because it's actually a really good feeling of people close together, working together, and you can actually leave the hotel. So that's awesome. So let's talk about what country are you more familiar with? And this guy has a blend too. He's like USA, New York City, but born and grew up in the UK, 50-50 split. How did you find out about hacking? American TV, oh, yay. Books and newspaper articles. The things that really got me interested, other than just general principles, were the books, Hacker's Handbook, and Out of the Inner Circle, and also the BBSs I discovered over the years that had hacking sections. In your region, how is hacking seen by the general public? Wow, can they really do that? Scary. Jail them, they are all dangerous. Is hacking in your region seen as more for crime, hacktivist, nation state, or other? Crime and nation state. People, I'm done. That's when it changed. Every freaking response, 90% of every person that responded to my survey, no matter what part of the world they showed up from, hacking is criminal. I was tired. I was tired of having to read those, and I was tired of what was going on. And I'm like, why? How did that happen? Because I got some information for you people. We didn't come from criminals. We came from artists and creators and inventors. That's where hacking came from. That's where hacking is. Alan Turing, hacker, father of cryptography, saved thousands and thousands upon thousands upon thousands, let's say it again, thousands of lives in World War II by helping to break the Enigma machine. Hacker. Also considered to the laws and stuff of that country at the time, social deviant, so they did the only natural thing, of course, and castrated him, so he committed suicide because he wasn't understood. But he provided so much good to the world from what he did because he wanted to do good. What about Nikola Tesla? Nikola Tesla, artist, hacker, inventor, created AC current. The only problem with Tesla is that he believed in open source. He believed that you shouldn't have to pay for power. That went over great with Con Edison and stuff, right? You know, it's like, so yeah, so that didn't work out well for him. He died alone in his hotel room. It took 2 days for the maid to find him. His most significant love in his life was a pigeon that he nursed back to health. That was what he received. He was a hacker. Leda Lovelace, computer programmer, the first computer programmer. Let me tell you, I am not going to get in this whole women in tech debate and stuff, you know. It's like that goes on every, 3 months or when someone gets bored on Twitter. I will explain this very, very specifically. Women started computer programming. They started this industry. They let men into it. Period. End of story. That's how that worked. She was not socially acceptable, disowned from her family, and the cure that she was getting for cancer killed her. That was her end. I would mention Leonardo da Vinci in this whole thing because to me, I consider him the uber hacker. He is the hacker above all hackers, but he died really well. People loved him. The prince gave him a house and stuff, for him to retire in. He was surrounded by friends. It didn't fit my whole way of trying to manipulate your emotions, so I ignored him. Okay? So let's forget him now. Okay? But that was hacking. Those were hackers. It doesn't matter the label. That's what they did. They saw something and they said, I can make it do something different. I can make it do something it wasn't supposed to do. That is the nature and the essence of hacking. So what the happened? When did we become the villain? When did we become the bad guys? I'm unaware of the change. I don't know exactly when it happened. And I'm not going to talk about conviction rates. I'm talking about these are just people that were convicted for hacking. Jeremy Hammond, 10 years for hacking. Andrew Weavenheimer, 10 years, overturned on a technicality, but he was browsing a directory. He was doing automated browsing directory transversal, something that you do all the time, especially if you were in the 90s and you're going through certain sites and stuff, and you're looking through the image folders. It's like you did the same thing. Guilty. Max Ray Butler, 13 years for hacking. Roman Vega, 18 years for hacking. Albert Gonzalez, 20 years for hacking. Seems reasonable? Nah. Malik Richmond, 1 year for rape. Jared Becker, 1 year of voluntary manslaughter for a firefighter. What about Trent Mays, 2 years for rape? Seth Hornberger, 3 to 6 years for voluntary manslaughter. He was able to plead down from murder. It's like, what about Jessica Ferratio, 5 years for murder of a 23-month-old toddler and her charge that she bashed his head in? Why is that? Because hacking is mysterious. We're hackers. We love the mystery and the mystique and stuff. Guess what, people? When the general populace doesn't know what you do, they don't understand it. And what they don't understand, they fear. What they fear, they try to destroy. So keep up with perpetrating that image of the mysterious, dark hacker. Because that's what it leads to. It leads to ignorance. And ignorance leads to those kind of charges and people not understanding what we do. It hasn't always been like that. Back in the 70s, a 14-year-old boy dialed into a nationwide computer network, uploaded a virus he had written, and caused the entire network to crash. That boy was Bill Gates. 5 years later, he founded Microsoft. Not the most well-sourced story, so I looked for another story of Bill. He and Paul Allen hacked the company's accounting file to try to get free computing time. Actually stole the administrator's password, used it to get in their systems, was caught, so they were punished. They couldn't use the computer time at the school anymore. That was their punishment. So, they got that. What about Steve Jobs and Wozniak? I don't do April Flame OS wars. I'll flame everybody equally. It's like, here's a quote from Woz. Offering a guarantee on an illegal product in such a quirky way appealed to Wozniak's sense of humor. It's kind of strange in itself. It's kind of unusual, but I thought it was worth the joke, he said. Between 1973 and 1975, several of Oath Tobar and Berkeley Blues customers, that's their handle names, their hacker names, were caught red-handed with their blue boxes. The boxes wound up at the FBI laboratory. Why were they at the FBI? Because they were illegal products that they sold. Wozniak and Jobs started out their whole entrepreneurship with devices to circumvent the telephone network. So we showed them. Did you see the new iPhone 6 is coming out soon, right? It's really awesome. Okay, cool. There we go. In 2010, another young man who had already founded a multi-million-dollar company broke into a utility closet at the MIT. He hooked up a laptop to the computer's network and downloaded 4 million academic journal articles, most of them in the public domain from a paid archive to which he had a subscription. He was arrested and indicted twice on multiple counts of fraud, and at a trial that was only to have begun in April, could have faced 50 years in federal prison and $1 million fine. His name was Aaron Swartz, and he took his life. He was prosecuted to suicide because he wanted to download subscriptions that he had and try to disseminate them. Most of them had a free use, fair domain anyway. 40 years ago, you can break into a network, upload a virus. Oh, you snotty. And now it's to the point where we've got it where people are dying from it. There is a problem with that. There's a problem that we're not talking about and we're not looking at. How are we seen as hackers? And how do we want to be seen as hackers? Like this? How many freaking news articles do you see that we look like the freaking Nazgul? I want to throw a ring at it. I mean, seriously. That guy's like giving me the creeps. Who is that guy? I've got a very cold computer room, okay? Sometimes I will wear a hoodie. I do not need ski mask and gloves to commit, cyber fraud. Okay? This is ridiculous. But they do this, and this is how they portray us. And you think, like, well, where did they get these stupid ideas, Jason? Well, maybe from us. This is a news article about these guys are like, military Israeli guys and stuff, doing the whole dark hooded thing. I'm not going to talk too much about them because I think they're Mossad and they scare me, so we'll move on. It's like, and then here's the good guys. Welcome to CyberU. Raytheon joins with colleges to train the next generation of net ninjas. So if you look like a normal hacker, geeky guy, you're a ninja because you're working for the good guys. It's like if you're a hacker, it's like all of a sudden the hoodie comes out, right? It's like, I don't know what's up. It's like, excuse me, honey, I got to go get to work. Let me get my hoodie on and stuff, It's like why is that? We have the press keep trying to lead the story. Here's a great one. This is from Sterling Riggs, douchebag. I'm sorry, jerk. I'm sorry, I try not to have a potty mouth. It's like, but Sterling Riggs, jerk, bad. What's the strongest bad word you can say that's politically correct? Loser. Can I say a-hole? Is that good? It's like, okay. That's what Sterling Riggs is, and I promise you it's not slander. I will say it to his face, and I firmly believe it. He wrote this right after DerbyCon. It's like he wrote, I don't know how I feel about, this is how he talks, I'm sure it is. I don't know how I feel about this DerbyCon happening at the Hyatt downtown. It's a convention for computer hackers. Sessions include password cracking, hacker war games, and a lock-picking pavilion. Thoughts? And oh yeah, there were some thoughts. There were some thoughts, okay? Greg was like, the LMPD and FBI should raid the convention and arrest the people who are doing the training. Reasonable. Michelle Perry, oh my gosh, scary. Darcy, poor Darcy, she was so scared she couldn't even do words. She just did an emoticon. So frowny face. It's like, Connie's like, I bet no arrest, more like employment opportunities. Oh, you bet there were. Jenny was like, wow, that's insane. Really? This is on Facebook. Sean, what about classes on mugging and car theft and something else because he's very witty. And Brenda, trying to be out funny, goes, Sean, that's next week, LOL. She's the funny one of the group. And then Amber Nicole says, I think it's stupid. You didn't capitalize I, Amber. I think you're stupid. And then Jen goes, arrest them all. Give me an effing break. I'm sure the Facebook targeted ads to the side were pitchforks and fire. It was ridiculous. So Adrian Crenshaw, Iron Geek, saw this posting, puts out on Twitter on Monday, say, hey guys, go look at this Facebook posting and try to do some responses. We responded. See, you automatically think that we're like, oh, we flamed them and we said all this. No. We educated them. We gave them thought out responses and tried to allay their fears, tried to explain to them what we were and why we were doing it. I mean, we're hackers, so some of them weren't, the best way to say it, okay? But they still, the majority were very reasoned arguments. So Sterling Riggs, jerk, a-hole, did the only thing he possibly could do, confronted with that kind of reasoned rhetoric from the other side. The coward deleted the Facebook post because that wasn't fitting the narrative. That didn't fit the narrative. Don't you hate it when media tries to skewer the story? Aren't we feeling wronged that that's how the media treats us? Well, guess what? I'm a hypocrite. I'm honest about it. It's like I'm a hypocrite about a lot of things. But the one thing that I didn't realize I was a hypocrite about was this story. The McDonald's coffee lady. Everybody knows the McDonald's coffee lady, right? She's the reason why you got to have hot on the coffee. What an idiot. How do you not know coffee's hot? I mean, she was literally a joke for years. Press. This is an actual cartoon from a newspaper making fun of her for scalding her hand because the coffee was too hot. And that would have been an awesome story for me to continue to make fun of until I realized she didn't burn her hand. She burned 15% of her body with third-degree burns that needed her body to be skin grafted and stuff, you know, from her leg. She was a nice lady and stuff who was sitting in the passenger seat of her nephew's car, stationary, when it occurred. I would have thought it was a really funny story until I found out that McDonald's served their coffee 180 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit to make sure that it stayed hot during the commute to work. Would have been funny if I didn't realize that all those people highlighted in pink were also admitted to the emergency room for being scalded by coffee. And when she went to McDonald's, they offered her $800 and probably some McNuggets, as compensation. So she goes to the trial to just get the money that is due her. And they rewarded her with $2.9 million. Like, Jason, that's a lot of money. No. That was for the U.S. sales of coffee for 2 days from McDonald's. Not even the Happy Meals, just the coffee for 2 days. She didn't even get that. She got less than $500,000 when it was all said and done. But the media went and changed the story. They made it different, and we believed it because she wasn't out there trying to change the story and tell the truth and say it out there enough to be overheard by all the mics and all the masses talking about what it should be done. We don't have to be that way. We don't have to let the media keep using the same narrative to describe us and to paint us. We can change that. We have enough voices. We know that there's an issue. And we are hackers, so we effing see something and we need to get something done. So what do? We start changing the narrative. And we're doing that, and we're starting away. I mean, we've got a good vanguard of people leading us on how to actually talk to the press. Dave Kennedy is one of the best guys out there on the press. You may have seen him on Fox News and MSNBC and Fox News. He was also on Bloomberg and then Fox News. And he was also on the Katie Couric show and stuff in Fox News. And CNN, I think, had him between the plane episodes and stuff. Then he was back on Fox News. But he's a great guy, okay? He is out there telling the story. Number one, he is saying, I'm a hacker. Number two, he is talking in the terms that laymen will understand about what goes on, what the actual issues are. Three, he has never seen him wear a hoodie on an interview, which is awesome, okay? I think that's really good of him and stuff, kudos to that guy, okay? But he talks to the people, and he communicates effectively to the public, and he says, I am a hacker, and I'm here to do good. I am a hacker, and I'm here to help protect you on the internet. I am a hacker. This is how you secure yourself. That's what we need. And we don't need just Dave Kennedy or Evan Booth or 1C or Dan Kaminsky out there giving this story. We don't just need them. We need more. We need to get the voices out there. Why not you? In my bio, if you'll notice, I am Times Person of the Year for 2006. The little funny secret is, so are you. Your local radio station, your local newspaper, security incident comes out, you know something's going on from a security incident, why don't you contact them and say, hey, there's this issue about something like that, do you want to hear about it? Would you like me to come and talk to you? Now, I don't mean just go in and stuff, and go say, yeah, I'm a hacker, this is all this stuff. Try to reason out, get your information out there, make sure you have the story correct, and approach it to them and talk to them. If you feel confident enough to do that, do it. Show them what it's really going on. Show them what hackers are really trying to do. Because if you don't, other people will. And here's Gregory Evans on Fox News. Sorry, couldn't resist. It's like, if you don't know who Gregory Evans is, he's the world's #1 hacker. He's full of #2, the way I say it. But still, that's who he is, okay? It's like we'll have other voices skewing the debate, skewing the perception of what hacking is, and we don't want that. You've got to become that voice. You can't just wait for someone else to come along saying, oh, I'll just wait for, that's a really bad story. I'll wait for Dave Kennedy to get on Fox and talk about it. You know, you've got to take it to them. We know there's something wrong. We need to change it. That's one of the things I love about this community, guys, in this industry. It's like, how many auto workers unions and stuff, you know, and I'm not saying nothing bad about auto workers unions, but how many of them actually really tried to commit to say there's something wrong in the world, I need to fix it? How many dentist organizations are out there trying to do that? You know, how many carpentry? How many other, you know, I don't see McDonald's food chain and stuff, you know, go and say, oh, this looks really bad. We need to do something about it. It's like they do their own little things, but we try to solve problems every day. And all the time we come up and we try to solve problems that no one else is looking at. One of the things I love about Bill Gates, I think something's awesome about Bill Gates, is that he tries to solve problems. It's like he thinks, like, you know, malaria is a bad thing to have. He's never had malaria. It's not because of where he lives there's a lot of malaria going on. It's just a bad thing that's happening and he wants to fix it. That's what we do. We try to fix things. This is from DEF CON for blood code. One of our own hackers, Barcode, that's the reason it's blood code, because it's funny. It's like, was found with a disease and stuff, you know, that he had that required 7 transfusions right off the very bat. Full blood transfusions. So what did DEF CON do 3 years ago? Blood drive for 1 day, 9 to 5 p.m. The lady from the blood center was in tears halfway through the day because before 9 o'clock was over, she was turning everybody else away because the whole slots were full for people wanting to donate blood. And she just couldn't believe that kind of response. She has done conventions, she has done conferences in Vegas all the time. She has never seen a turnout so consistently that she saw at a hacker conference in Vegas. The second year that blood code was done, the largest blood donation, blood drive in Nevada state history. The ninja parties were giving out passes, so that might have helped, okay? Let's be honest. I'm trying to be honest here, okay? But the third year, last year, no gimmicks, no sweepstakes, no nothing. Just go and donate. The second largest blood drive in Nevada state history. The 2 largest blood drives came from hackers. So that means a lot of people got buzzed when their donations were needed. But still, you know, it happened. What else? What about Johnny? Johnny Long, Christian missionary in Uganda, actually trying to help not just the local area that he's in and impact the local area, but he gives computer support and technical support for other missionaries and other agencies out there trying to give aid to that region of Africa. He is trying to make a difference. And he's got it proudly in his name. He's a hacker for charity. It's like, I love wearing the shirts and stuff, you know, because people say, I hack charities. And people are like, why would you do that, you horrible man? I'm like, no. That's not the way that is. And just to keep it on an international flair, it's like, see this guy in the middle right there? That's China Eagle. You may know China Eagle from 2003 Titan Rain. It's like, sorry, you might have to report that one back. But yeah, it's like China Eagle is not just the notorious hacker and stuff, you know, who did that. He's the Johnny Long of China. He actually has a whole mission of putting computers in rural schools in Western China. It's like in the small countries and stuff. He's doing a mission of good, helping the people in his area, in his region, and stuff, you know, better themselves and become more technically advanced. He hates criminals. He hates computer criminals. It's like he's very patriotic. He's a very patriotic person. He believes in his government. He believes in his country wholeheartedly. It's like, you know, most people would like to think, it's like, yeah, but That's what I love about America. America confuses me the most and stuff, is because we love patriotism. America. But we don't realize that other countries can have patriotism too, and it's okay. It's just not our country. So it's like, we still got to wrap our heads around that, but that's okay. But it's like, but yeah, he does good. Why do we need to show this? Why do we need to start having a voice? Because quite frankly, we're breeding. Hackers are having offspring. I know, it's a strange concept. But we're having to, what do you want your children to see as hacking? Do you want them to see the guy with the hoodie, or do you want them to see the guy who's trying to make things better? Do you want to be seen as an inventor or a thief? That's the choices we have to start making. It's not about just being cool. It's not just about being the scary hacker dude. It's about being someone that your children can look up to. One of the best moments of my life was walking my daughter through her elementary school. Her schoolmate came up to her and she said, "This is my daddy. He's a hacker." You better believe it. It's one of the proudest moments of my life. She used to say I was a ninja and stuff, and her school friends corrected her, and I had to explain to her, like, okay, Dave's not technically a ninja. We'll just keep that in the house and stuff, okay? It's like, because I still tell her I'm a ninja. But it's like, that's it. You got Aaron Carey, Marcus Carey's son. That guy is like 17 years old, a genius at computer programming. Why? Because it was nurtured. It was shown in his environment. It was shown what you could be. We have to stop taking hacking and making it some kind of mystic art. It's not. It is human curiosity with the will to make something change. That's what it is. And it is not something that we go to a class for. It is not something that we go to a conference for. It is in our DNA. Being a hacker is being human. These Ethiopian kids were given a sealed box, unopened, not knowing English, not knowing anything what was in the box. They were left out inside their village. One kid opened the box. They found an Android Zoom tablet. 5 months later, they had learned English, hacked the security settings to re-enable the camera and take off the parental controls. 5 months. That was not just some kind, they didn't go to the CEH, okay? They learned. They were inquisitive. They were hackers. A kid, 5-year-old kid, hacks into the Xbox account of his dad because his dad wouldn't let him. So he found a vulnerability in the Microsoft system to allow him to access it. Because what's more incentive is than to play Grand Theft Auto, right? So he saw that. And he got in because he was a hacker. Stop making hacker into something scary or mysterious. Hacking is who we are. It's part of all of us. Start showing other people that's what it is. It's not mystic. It's being able to have to say, I wonder what that does. And can I make it do this? That is hacking. That is what we do. That is what we are. And remember, unlike a lot of other industries, we are a community. We all work together. We all have a stake in this. And also through the transitive power of Kevin Bacon, we were only 2 degrees away from him through Oliver Stone and my awkward hugs. So congratulations. But that's the end of that. This is the part where I drink some Diet Pepsi and concludes my presentation.